Did you know that in the vast forests of Gaul, the fate of the Roman army didn't rest solely on well-trained legions, but on small groups of cavalrymen led by men who rarely get the recognition they deserve? While Julius Caesar is celebrated as the mastermind of the Gallic Wars, few realize that the Decurions, the leaders of the Roman cavalry, were the true eyes, ears, and often the finishing blow of his campaigns. These men commanded units that navigated hostile territories, ambushed enemies, and turned the tide of battles where victory seemed impossible. Now, imagine leading a cavalry troop through blood-soaked fields with no maps, relying solely on your courage and the loyalty of your men, knowing that one wrong move could cost not just your life, but the lives of an entire legion. These men were more than soldiers. They were the unsung heroes of a growing empire. But how did the Decurions really operate? What strategies did they use to turn the tide against the Gauls, even when outnumbered? And why did Caesar entrust them with missions no one else dared to take on? In today's video, we're diving into the critical role of the Decurions in Caesar's Gallic campaigns, uncovering how these cavalry leaders became the key to some of Rome's most important victories. Discover the stories that history books often overlook and see how the cavalry shaped Rome's destiny. You'll learn how these forces operated, from their battlefield tactics to the strategic decisions that turned simple raids into decisive victories. Get ready to uncover fascinating details of bravery, leadership, and ingenuity. And if you love history and want to uncover more incredible secrets of the Roman Empire, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. It helps us bring you more epic content and share these stories with a wider audience. Now, let's step onto the battlefield and reveal the secrets of the Decurions. The rise of a Decurion was no coincidence, but the result of a relentless process that began long before they stepped onto the battlefield. These men were selected from among the most experienced soldiers, often after demonstrating extraordinary skills during minor campaigns. The trust placed in them was forged through trials of loyalty, leadership, and combat proficiency that challenged both mind and body. Strength alone was not enough. They needed to be natural strategists capable of interpreting complex orders and improvising under pressure. In addition to technical competence, Decurions had to master psychological resilience. During training, they were subjected to scenarios simulating the harshest conditions: sieges, nocturnal pursuits, and open-field combat. These tests ensured that in the chaos of the Gallic Wars, the Decurions could remain calm and command their men with authority. For many, their leadership potential was recognized in their gaze, a blend of determination and an understanding of the sacrifices required for victory. Decurions occupied a unique position in the Roman hierarchy. Although subordinate to centurions, their strategic role brought them closer to the generals. Their relationship with legionaries was marked by respect and, often, admiration. These men served as the bridge between Caesar's orders and their practical execution in the field, bearing the weight of decisions that could alter the course of a campaign. Thus, their leadership went beyond military command. It also involved building bonds of trust with their subordinates. However, leading came with challenges. Many faced ethical and emotional dilemmas, balancing military success with the survival of their men. The pressure to flawlessly execute dangerous missions created an ongoing internal conflict, especially when their decisions meant the deaths of comrades or civilians. Yet, this pressure forged them into resilient leaders capable of overcoming seemingly insurmountable odds. As Decurions earned respect and recognition, another question emerged: how would their skills be applied in real battles? The answer lies in how they revolutionized mobility and strategy during Caesar's campaigns, where every move was calculated to ensure the Roman army's survival. In the heat of the Gallic Wars, Decurions emerged as masters of strategic mobility. Under their leadership, the Roman cavalry became the element of surprise in campaigns, capable of turning disadvantages into victories. Their missions extended beyond brute force. They were demonstrations of tactical engineering. Every movement was planned to maximize impact while minimizing exposure, like swift ambushes that dismantled enemy lines before the legionaries even engaged. One iconic example occurred during the campaigns in Nervian territory, where Decurions led lightning-fast strikes that crippled Gallic supply lines. In such missions, speed was vital. Their horses, trained to endure fatigue and fear, enabled deep incursions into hostile territories, often without maps or defined routes. The Decurions used the terrain to their advantage, exploiting dense forests and hills to conceal their movements and strike with surgical precision. Reconnaissance missions were equally critical. In these tasks, Decurions and their men infiltrated enemy territories to gather intelligence on numbers, positions, and intentions. This information allowed Caesar to plan strategies that preempted Gallic movements, often avoiding deadly ambushes. The Decurions' loyalty to the Roman cause was tested to the extreme, as these missions frequently resulted in direct confrontations with numerically superior forces. Leadership on the battlefield demanded near-superhuman courage. Decurions were often the first to enter combat, and, just as often, the last to retreat. They served as living examples for their subordinates, who drew inspiration from their determination and fearlessness. Moreover, the personal bonds between Decurions and their troops strengthened unit cohesion, making them an extension of their leader's will. But how did these extraordinary leaders perform in large-scale battles, where the fate of an entire legion could hinge on a single decision? To grasp their importance at the peak of the campaigns, we must delve into the most critical moments of the Gallic Wars, where glory and despair were separated by the thinnest of margins. The Decurion significance was most evident in the pivotal battles of the Gallic Wars, where their decisions often tipped the balance between triumph and disaster. In the Battle of Gergovia, for instance, the Roman forces faced an uphill struggle, literally and figuratively. As Caesar's legions struggled to overcome the fortified heights held by the Gauls, it was the Decurions who managed to secure vital flanking maneuvers. Commanding small cavalry units, they struck at supply lines and disoriented enemy scouts, effectively disrupting Gallic communication. At the heart of these efforts was an extraordinary blend of strategic vision and personal bravery. Decurions were not mere commanders. They were often embedded with their men, riding into the thick of the fray. In Alesia, another key moment of the campaigns, the Decurions' role became even more pronounced. As the Gauls attempted to lift the Roman siege, their cavalry struck repeatedly at the Gallic reinforcements, delaying their advance and buying time for Caesar to fortify his position. These actions, though rarely highlighted, were instrumental in ensuring Rome's eventual victory. But victories came at a cost. The personal sacrifices of the Decurions were immense, as they frequently lost comrades and friends on the battlefield. Many had to make the painful choice of prioritizing the mission over the safety of their men. For some, this meant leading charges into seemingly hopeless odds to draw attention away from vulnerable infantry units. Their leadership was not just a matter of tactics. It was a testament to their unwavering commitment to the cause. These battles also underscored the trust Caesar placed in his Decurions. It was not uncommon for them to be summoned to receive direct orders for high-stakes missions. Their ability to interpret and execute these commands without hesitation reflected their exceptional discipline and intelligence. As the campaigns progressed, they became more than just leaders of cavalry. They were Caesar's most trusted operatives, entrusted with turning the tide in critical moments. Yet, this raises intriguing questions. Why did Caesar rely so heavily on these cavalry leaders? Was it purely their skill, or were there deeper political and personal motivations behind his decisions? To uncover this, we must delve into the untold stories of loyalty, intrigue, and the mysterious dynamics between Caesar and his Decurions. The Decurions' unwavering loyalty to Caesar has often been portrayed as one of the cornerstones of their success. But what lay behind this steadfast allegiance? While Caesar's charisma and leadership undoubtedly played a role, there are hints of deeper, more complex dynamics at work. Historical records suggest that Decurions were not just military leaders, but also political allies, carefully chosen for their loyalty not only to Rome, but to Caesar himself. One clue lies in the sparse, but fascinating accounts of private meetings between Caesar and his Decurions. Unlike the centurions, who often relayed orders through intermediaries, decurions sometimes received direct instructions from Caesar. This level of trust was unusual, especially given the high stakes of the Gallic Wars. It is plausible that Caesar saw in them a rare combination of loyalty and competence, qualities he could depend on amid the shifting tides of Roman politics and war. However, their loyalty did not come without challenges. The Decurions operated in an environment rife with intrigue and rivalries. Some faced opposition from jealous commanders who resented their closeness to Caesar. Others navigated the dangerous terrain of Roman politics, where alliances could shift in an instant. Despite these obstacles, the Decurions maintained their focus, often shielding Caesar from potential threats by acting as his eyes and ears in the field. There are also intriguing hints of unrecorded events, mysteries that add to the allure of their story. Were there moments of dissent among the Decurions? Did Caesar ever question their loyalty? Some historians speculate that the trust between Caesar and his cavalry commanders may have been tested during the most desperate moments of the campaigns. Unfortunately, much of this remains speculation, as many of the Decurions' personal accounts have been lost to time. Ultimately, the Decurions' contributions extended beyond individual battles. Their ability to adapt, innovate, and lead under pressure shaped not only the outcomes of the Gallic Wars, but also the future of Roman military strategy. Yet, as their legacy continues to inspire, one question remains. Could the empire have achieved its conquests without them? Or were these cavalry leaders the true architects of Rome's dominance? Before we wrap up this video, think about this. The Decurions were pivotal to Caesar's victories, but was their loyalty truly unshakable? And how much of Rome's success depended on extraordinary leaders? Now, imagine a Roman soldier who never lost a single battle. Tarquin the Immortal defied all odds and became a legend. But was he truly invincible, or was his story shaped by myth? Click on the video next to this one and uncover how Tarquin's legend might redefine what we know about invincibility on the Roman battlefield.